Alright guys, the holidays are around the corner. It is almost Christmas. In yesterday's video I did a top 5 list of my most inexpensive or less expensive budget cheap fragrances that you can buy to gift for a man, or if you're a man to gift to yourself, or just to buy, as I find those 5 fragrances to be excellent deals. Really inexpensive, some of my favorite less expensive fragrances. But in today's video I'm talking about 15 different brands, all indie, all niche, all under $100 here in today's video, and in each house that I'm going to talk about I'm going to highlight 2 fragrances. So if you're curious to explore new niche houses, or perhaps you've already familiar with these houses but you want to hear a little bit about them, then please stay tuned. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is Sebastian with Smelling Great Fragrance Reviews. Yes, we're talking about 15 indie niche houses today that sell fragrances for under $100. Now, the only stipulation is that some brands have 30 ml bottles, one brand has 75 ml bottles, some have 50, or a lot have 50, and there are several here that also have 100, and that one new brand I have, it's actually designer, but it's almost like a niche house, has fragrances that are 125 ml for under $100. So all of them you can obtain for under $100, but of course if you do the math for the per ml price, some end up being more expensive than others. But it also depends on if you're brand new to the world of niche perfumes and you want to explore some brands that are definitely on the niche side, not designer at all, and you know, you don't have the budget to buy very expensive fragrances, you can refer to this video and, you know, find out what the brands are and the fragrances are. So I'll let you know all about the brands, but before I get to the fragrances and the brands, if this is your first time tuning into my channel and you still haven't subscribed, please do click the subscribe button below and also click the bell so you'll be notified for future videos and giveaways. So let's do this video as quick as possible. It's going to be a longer video, but I'm going to start right off the bat with the most expensive, as in depending on the quantity of the juice, and that brand is GALLIVANT. So today I'm highlighting 2 fragrances from GALLIVANT, and GALLIVANT is a UK brand, and they talk about or create fragrances that are inspired by cities that you can gallivant around or walk around. So I'm going to highlight 2 of my favorites from this house. So we've got Istanbul and we've got Tokyo. Istanbul is that amber fragrance that's really beautiful, warm, spicy with amber, sweet myrrh, cardamom. Really great fragrance. I love this one. And then of course Tokyo is kind of inspired by, of course, Tokyo, Japan. So they use kind of like Japanese notes, Yuzu, Wasabi, Hinoki, and of course there's some Vetiver in here as well. This one I find to be a great fall, spring, even summer fragrance. Istanbul definitely is more of a winter fragrance. So the brand sells these fragrances in 30 ml eau de parfum concentration, and they are $95 each. So that's the first brand I'm going to highlight for you today. Next I'm going to highlight another brand that sells 30 ml bottles, and this is TAUERVILLE and their fragrance Rose Flash and a Vanilla Flash. These 2 are probably the best fragrances. There's also Patch Flash, there's Amber Flash and Incense Flash and Patchouli Flash and Tuberose Flash. All of those are available. I think a few are kind of on back order right now, but these are definitely still available and I really love them, especially Rose Flash. Rose Flash is really deep and rich. It's almost like acts like X-ray concentration, so it's really rich. It's a dense concentration, so a little goes a long way with this one. But they are 30 ml bottles for $63, and of course Rose Flash focuses on rose with lots of resins and woody notes. The Vanilla Flash, on the other hand, is focusing on bourbon, vanilla, tobacco, rose, and spices with a little patchouli. Both of them are great fragrances. I have videos about these 2 fragrances on the channel. You can go and find out more about them. And of course, in regards to GALLIVANT, you can find a full review of Tokyo on the channel as well. Okay, so the next brand I'm going to focus on is a brand that has 75 ml bottles, and they are sold for $65. So one thing I want to also mention, TAUERVILLE fragrances are unisex, GALLIVANT fragrances are unisex, and so are these. And I'm talking about MOLINARD, and MOLINARD's Figue and Vanille are 2 great examples of fragrances from MOLINARD. 75 ml, $65, of course they are unisex. The Figue is a great Figue. It's fruity, it's green with citrusy touches and woody touches. I really do enjoy this fig. It's perfect in the summertime. And Vanille is a great vanilla with loads of vanilla. There's multiple kinds of vanilla in here, I guess, from what I was doing when I was doing the research on the notes. So it's gooey, it's syrupy, it's warm and cozy, really perfect fragrance for wearing when you're, you know, it's cold outside, so fall and winter time. But a great collection of fragrances. I've actually traveled to their perfumery in Grasse, and it's great to go there and explore their fragrances, of course explore the region as well. So MOLINARD, great indie house, or I should say more niche house, indie niche house from the south of France that you guys definitely should explore, as I find their fragrances to be perfect. They also have lots of other fragrances, of course Lavande and a few others as well. So that's MOLINARD. Next, we're jumping to the 50 ml bottles, and the first brand I'm going to talk to you about is Imaginary Authors, and they have a new fragrance here called a Whiff of Wafflecone. Yummy, yummy, yummy. And then of course my favorite is this one right here. It's St. Julep. So Whiff of Wafflecone is a very vanillic gourmand fragrance. This is the first for Imaginary Authors, and it smells quite delicious. But you know, I really do love waffle cones for eating ice cream, and they've captured the smell here perfectly. So it's got notes of vanilla, caramel, whipped cream syrup with other stuff, but it's really, really wonderful. But in all honesty, when I smell fragrances from Imaginary Authors, I definitely spot their DNA. I can totally spot the DNA. So you can tell that it's an Imaginary Authors fragrance, you know, because they use a certain type of DNA. And then going on to St. Julep, I really love this one. It's become my favorite. It's perfect, kind of a non-fresh fragrance you can wear in the summertime. It's got loads of sugar, mint, tangerine, boozy whiskey, very, very yummy. You can taste, or not taste, you can actually experience the sugar crystals when you're wearing them. It's a really interesting fragrance, but I really, really love it, and I enjoy wearing this one in the summertime. As I said, it's got some depth to it. It's not an ultra freshy, but it acts a little fresh, you know, as I really do love it. Sugar, mint, tangerine, whiskey, great fragrances. They're definitely unisex fragrances, and they come in 50 ml bottles for $95. So that's Imaginary Authors. All right, the next house we're going to talk about is called Guy Fawkes, with their fragrances Marra and of course JP. So this is a house based out of San Francisco, California, and they sell fragrances in 50 ml for just under $60. So 50 ml bottles under $60, and Marra focuses on grapefruit, rosemary, and black pepper, really fresh and spicy, and then JP focuses on ginger, apple, and sage. So it's spicy, zingy, fruity, and aromatic at the same time. So these are really, really great fragrances. They have 6 total fragrances, I think, currently. I know they're working on a few more fragrances, but they're great. I think they're kind of fragrances that they're not quite edgy, if that makes sense. So I think they're universally or mass appealing qualities, but still on a side where they're kind of still niche quality, where they don't smell like your designer fragrances, if that makes sense. So those are from the house of Guy Fawkes, and it's Marra and JP. Again, these are unisex, 50 ml bottles for $59.50. Next, going to across the country to New York City. We're going to Olfactory New York City, or NYC, with Hunter and of course Reed. Now these 2 fragrances I did a video on the channel, and of course I have a video for Guy Fawkes on the channel as well. And these are 50 ml bottles for $50 currently is what I saw the price for, and they are sold on their website. They're unisex, of course. Now Hunter is this really beautiful musky vanillic woody fragrance, really, really wonderful. Lots of vanilla, lots of ambrette seed and cedar wood. Ambrette seed is a type of note that is used to create a musky smell. So it's really, really you know, it has a very musky quality to it, but there's some slight medicinal qualities as well. Because when I smell ambrette, I get like a slight medicinal quality, which is actually kind of pleasant because I really enjoyed in that particular note. So that's Hunter. And then this one recently was featured in a less expensive patchouli fragrances video, Reed. And it's kind of a greenish fragrance with sage, rose, patchouli clear wood. So it's got lots of patchouli, which I really love. The sage is great and aromatic, and the rose adds this beautiful floral touch to the fragrance. You know, they're really nice fragrances. They're definitely still easier to wear, but you know, they're complex with their unique takes on specific notes or styles. So Hunter, and then Reed from the House of Olfactory NYC. And then we're going to Perfumology. Perfumology Grange and Perfumology Clutch. Now Clutch is a smoky, leathery, woody fragrance that, you know, has some zing to it, almost like a slight, it's got ginger in it, so it has almost like a ginger cola or ginger ale kind of a zinginess, along with the vanilla and elemi and leather touch. It's really, really unique fragrance, really wonderful to wear. Ginger fragrances really are fun fragrances. I should probably focus on doing a video specifically on ginger fragrances. But then we also have Grange, and Grange is kind of a sweet, fruity, tobacco-ish concoction that's also on the fizzy side. In fact, this one acts fizzy because of the ginger. This one even acts more fizzy. There's something in here that bubbly, like it's like percolating, bubbling, but in a kind of a sparkling and effervescence quality, which is really, really unique. So Perfumology fragrances are from the store Perfumology, and they come in 50 ml bottles for $95. They're definitely on the unisex side as well. And if you're looking for unisex fragrances, these are really, really great fragrances. In fact, all the fragrances I'm talking about today are unisex, except for the one designer brand that I'm going to let you know about at the very end of the video is male targeted, but their fragrances do smell unisex enough for a woman to be able to pull off as well. Next house we're going to talk about is CRA-YON, which I recently did a video for, and they are currently sold at our San Francisco ZGO Perfumery. They did a full bottle giveaway, and I think the winner picked a Vanilla CEO. So they have three fragrances total so far, and the people behind this brand are the same people that have the house Agonist perfumes. They come in 50 ml bottles for $95 each, and I'm highlighting Vanilla CEO and also Passport Amour. Vanilla CEO is a vanilla that's salty and slightly beachy smelling. So it's got vanilla, orchid, amber, woodsy notes, orange blossom, and then it's really, really pleasant vanilla that you know, I like this combination of the salty vanilla. It just adds a unique characteristic or style to the vanilla fragrance when vanilla kind of gets boring after a while. You know, every vanilla fragrance starts smelling the same. So this new twist of adding some saltiness, some beachiness to the fragrance makes for a little more unique experience. So that's Vanilla CEO. With Passport Amour though, they're going back to the traditional style of combining agarwood or oud with rose, which is what this one basically is. And there's also some patchouli, which I like this combo, and some musk as well. So these are great entry-level fragrances from this house CRA-YON, and of course, as I said, there are same people behind Agonist perfumes from Sweden, and these are two fragrances out of three that I'm highlighting for you today from the house of CRA-YON. 50 ml bottles, $95, and they're definitely unisex fragrances. So next we're going to the house of J-Scent, another house that I highlighted recently on the channel. This is a house Japanese brand, and the fragrance Yuzu, which is this, and then also this one right here, it's Paper Soap. So first we're going to talk about Yuzu, but let me tell you how much they are. 50 ml bottles for $80, and again they're indie niche style, and they're very, very unisex fragrances. Yuzu focuses on yuzu with lots of citruses. Of course, it combines, the yuzu is combined with grapefruit, lemons, bergamot, and oranges. It's a very fresh and kind of citrusy, juicy kind of an experience with some light aromatic touches in there. So they've thrown in some slight woody touches and some aromatic herbal touches as well. So that's yuzu for you. And of course, yuzu is a very Japanese fruit, so it's a given that they would make something that you know, utilizing this particular note. And here with Paper Soap, so Paper Soap is a very soapy aldehydic experience. If you like the idea of aldehydes, if you're used to something like Chanel No. 5, Kalesh from Hermes, or anything that combines aldehydes, you might want to look into this. But this is the soapy aldehyde aldehydic experience. So it's aldehydes, jasmine, there's some musk and rose. Very, very beautiful fragrance. I really do like this one. I like soapy, clean fragrances. I do enjoy aldehydic fragrances, and I think they've done a great job with Paper Soap. So that is Paper Soap and Yuzu, two fragrances I'm highlighting from this brand. If you don't know the brand, go check out my video about this particular brand, as they are they have a lot of fragrances is what I was going to say. I've done a 3 fragrances highlight of the brand, and you can learn a little bit more about their fragrances if you look them up on the channel. Alright, next going to a house that I recently highlighted, Sarah Baker's S.BAKER collection of fragrances. And with this, in this video, I'm going to highlight 2 fragrances, Symmetry and of course G-Clef. And this, the fragrances from Sarah Baker collection, S.BAKER collection, are 50 ml bottles for $95, and they are all unisex fragrances, obviously. I think they're all very, very unisex. Some actually might lean masculine as well. In fact, Symmetry and G-Clef definitely are masculine leaning. This Symmetry is my favorite of the S.BAKER collection fragrances, and it's got agarwood or oud with cypriol, petitgrain, and amber. It's a great oud. Love wearing this one. There's some slight saffrony and slight leathery touches in there as well that I really like. And G-Clef, inspired by Highway 1, I think, from what I saw on her Instagram account, which is close to me, and I could travel down there quite frequently. And this one focuses on, it's actually a fougere aquatic. I think that's what this one is. So it has aquatic notes, and this one doesn't go fishy or marine too much, thankfully, and it focuses on tonka beans, grapefruit, bergamot, lavender, and oak moss. Of course, lavender, oak moss are traditionally featured in fougere fragrances, but as I said, this is a aquatic fougere inspired by, you know, this drive down Highway 1 here in Northern California that I really love, and I can see the inspiration with this one. You can smell the sea breeze, and of course you can also experience the growth along the water, which I think they've captured here perfectly in G-Clef. So these are 2 great fragrances. This is Symmetry, my favorite of the 5 from the S.BAKER collection, and this is G-Clef. Of course, all unisex, 50 ml bottles for $95. Alright, now we're moving on to the 100 ml bottles. We've got a few of those, and of course the last brand I'm going to talk to you about is a Spanish designer, clothing designer or clothing store, with 4 fragrances that they have currently, and I'm highlighting 2 of them, and those are the best deal that I'm going to tell you about. They're targeted to men though, but I think women can pull them off. But the first 100 ml brand I'm going to talk to you about is BERDOUES, with 2 fragrances. They're unisex fragrances, 100 ml bottles, $88, and this is oud. Wait, is that oud? Yeah, this is Oud al Sahraa, and this is Hoja de Cuba. Hoja? Is it Hoja de Cuba? So, Oud al Sahraa is a great fragrance with oud, myrrh, and Mandarin note. So the fragrances from BERDOUES are not overly complex, and it's a great entry-level kind of a brand. If you're new to niche and indie fragrances, I think their fragrances are perfect because they're not overly complex. They highlight 3 notes, and you get to know and experience these notes and learn about them. And this one, they've done a great job with the oud. It's an easy to wear oud with oud, myrrh, and Mandarin. You know, they're highlighting this resin of Mandarin, which adds some sweetness, the oud with its woodiness and the slight smokiness, and of course the sweet citrus touch of the Mandarin with this one. It's a great one, check it out. And then Hoja de Cuba is all about tobacco, of course, inspired by tobacco. And it's a great tobacco because you've got this tobacco leaf. It's not smoky or ashy. It's tobacco leaf with allspice and vetiver. Again, you'll get some accords in there. There's some spiciness, of course. There's some sweetness in here as well, some earthy grassiness with the vetiver. But in the end, it's all about this tobacco with allspice with a little bit of the vetiver touch. So very, very great collection. I really do enjoy this collection. Hopefully you guys get to try them. And of course, they're not overly complex fragrances. They're 100 ml bottles. They're under $100. Niche fragrances for you know, the price of designer fragrances. So these are from the house BERDOUES, Parfums BERDOUES, and it's Oud al Sahraa, and this is Hoja de Cuba. Alright, next 100 ml bottles we're going to talk about is a brand from the UK called Shane Blue. And Shane Blue's Blood Oranges and of course Salt Caramel are 2 fragrances you should definitely check out. 100 ml bottles currently go for $90, and they're sold at Lucky Scent, which is a great store to buy fragrances from. So these 2 fragrances, I should say, are from a collection that are 100 ml $90. They do have a collection that's priced higher, and I think those fragrances are a little more complex. But these fragrances in the $90 bottles in the 100 ml sizes are excellent. In fact, Blood Oranges is one of the most amazing blood orange smell I've ever encountered in a fragrance. I really love wearing it. It goes down pretty easily, but it's just this beautifully sweet, tart blood orange note meshed with slight leathery and musky woody touches. So it's overwhelming with the blood oranges, and those other notes come in to support the blood oranges to kind of balance it out, so otherwise you'd be going completely blood orangey fragrance. But a wonderful fragrance, and it's great to wear in the summertime. Love that one. And the other one, Salt Caramel, is a very you know, it's the salted caramel smell. It's got like cookies kind of smell in there, but really yummy. Almost tastes, to me it smells like butter cookies. Those are the kind of cookies that you can totally smell when you smell them after they're baked, and you're gonna crunch into them, you know. That's what they remind me of. But for me, it's caramel with sea salt, and of course there's some tonga beans and sandalwood. A little bit also reminding me of salted popcorn, you know. There's some saltiness, and of course caramel and all that kind of stuff in combination with the popcorn. It reminds me a little bit of salted caramel popcorn. But really delicious fragrances. Great collection of fragrances. I probably have 4 of their fragrances in my collection. I should check out more. But really great quality, great smells, and 100 ml bottles under $100. So a wonderful collection. So this is Salt Caramel, and this is Blood Oranges, and again, both unisex fragrances, 100 ml for $90 from the House of Shea and Blue. All right, 3 more houses to go, and this next one has been around for quite some time, but I definitely have to highlight them because they have 100 ml bottles for $85. And this particular brand focuses on a lot of vanilla and gourmand fragrances. I'm talking about the House of Comptoir Sud Pacifique, and this is Vanille Café, and this is Amour de Cacao. So Vanille Café is your vanilla fragrance with, you know, the shots of coffee with some slight, you know, a little bit of gourmandy notes thrown in addition to the coffee and vanilla smell. So you've got the cafe smell of the coffee, the beautiful rich syrupy vanilla in here, but they've thrown in the benzoin note, which is a vanillic resin. It's a nice way to add some base to the fragrance, and of course there's also some slight nuttiness from almonds added in there as well. You do get some floral touches in there, light, very light white floral touches, almost like magnolias I would get. Not very distinct smelling flowers, but in the end it's a very cozy fragrance with the coffee and of course the vanilla. So that's from the House of Comptoir Sud Pacifique, 100 ml, $85. And of course I do also want to highlight this one, Amour de Cacao. And Amour de Cacao is a cacao, basically chocolate with vanilla, some slight fruitiness from star fruit, and there's a little bit of citrusy, a sweet touch of orange, but a great cozy fragrance. Both of these fragrances are very cozy. I think this house does some great fragrances, very inexpensive too. 100 ml, $85, great cozy, perfect winter, kind of autumn winter fragrances, and of course fragrances to wear during the holidays. But if you want cozy fragrances all year round, these are the kind of fragrances I would pull from this house. They won't break your bank, you'll smell great, you'll smell delicious pretty much. So the only thing I should say is these are unisex fragrances, but they might lean feminine, these kind of notes, but I don't have a problem wearing gourmand fragrances, and these are both great. So this is Vanille Café and Amour de Cacao from the House of Comptoir Sud Pacifique. 100 ml bottles for $85. The next house I'm going to talk to you about is Essential Parfums with Mon Vetiver and Divine Vanille. These fragrances are sold for 100 ml bottle for $75. So great price once again, even better than the Comptoir Sud Pacifique. And great fragrances, of course. Divine Vanille, I should talk about, is one of their latest fragrances, although they're working on another fragrance I have heard about. But Divine Vanille is a very yummy, spicy, resinous, slightly gourmandy kind of a vanilla fragrance. Really wonderful. I really love this one. So great. Reminds me of some other fragrances that I really like. It might even be some tobacco-ish touches in there as well. And Mon Vetiver is, of course, vetiver with a gin, lime, juniper. So there's that kind of like a gin tonic kind of a vibe running throughout this vetiver. So it makes it for an easier to wear vetiver. Because some of you that are challenged with this very dark, damp, earthy, rooty kind of vetiver, this is the kind of vetiver to pull for. It's more fresh. You can wear it throughout the whole year. It's classy, it's crisp, it's refreshing. I think it's a great work scent too, and you won't have an issue with it, especially if you do have issues with vetiver fragrances. So those are 2 fragrances from the House of Essential Parfums. You should check out their entire collection. They have a lot more fragrances, but I feel like these are 2 of my favorites from this house. Again, unisex fragrances, 100 ml for $75. And last but not least, I've been promising this one brand. It's a fragrance house from Spain called El Ganzo, the Goose, or the Goose, I think. And 2 fragrances, Part-Time Hero and After Game. So these are 125 ml bottles for $79. So these are fragrances targeted to men, but I feel like they're unisex enough for a woman to pull off. Great price point. Again, they're designers, but I think their fragrances are not so well known. I think the brand is not so well known, and also they're very niche styling. You know, not over the top niche, but you know, I feel like I can see these fragrances in a niche brand's bottles. But Part-Time Hero is a combination of beautiful lemons with rose, so it's a rose and lemon combo with some spiciness from juniper and musk. This one actually is very fresh and refreshing, and I like the whole combination of the lemons with the rose. It's really, really beautiful. And then with After Game, it's a spicy, citrusy, kind of a tea fragrance that's also zingy with ginger. That's After Game, this one right here. Both of these are 2 of my favorites from this house, and I do have a full video coming out very soon about the brand, so stay tuned for that. But as I said, this is the very last brand, the best deal that you can get, and I'm sorry to slip it in here for you guys. And of course it's a designer, but you know, I felt like since it's not very well known and the fragrances are great and great value for $79 for 125 ml, I'm going to highlight them for you. So that's the last brand, El Ganzo, the Goose. And that does it for the 15 niche houses under $100. Guys, I'm going to put links to every single one of the brands and where you can buy the fragrances at. So look for the links if you're curious to discover these. Of course, get samples if you can, or if you have the budget, go ahead and get the bottles. But I'll have links in the info box for any of the brands that I've spoken about today for you guys to discover. Anyway, thanks so much for watching today's video. I know it was longer than normal, but let me know what you think about these fragrances and the houses. Are you familiar with the houses? Are you familiar with the brands? Is there a brand that you heard about for the first time today, and what do you think about them, and which fragrances sound great to you? What do you think about the price and the price point and the, you know, per mil, how many mils in each bottle? Let me know some thoughts about those as well, because I'd like to find out if you like fragrances that are 30 ml for, like, let's say the TAUERVILLE's $63. Do you think that's a good value with the quality of the fragrances and the, you know, how they wear and all that good stuff? I'd like to find out. And of course, let me know anything that you want to tell me about the fragrances I spoke to you about. And if there are other brands that are under $100 that are niche I should check out, please do let me know. Put a comment down so I can find out. Anyway, thanks again. Thanks so much for watching today's video. If you have any questions or comments, please list below. Otherwise, please like this video. Please share it. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye.